Stan accounts have always fascinated me. I'm not entirely sure why, but there's always been a part of me that's wondered what it would be like to care about something so much that it consumes my entire internet presence. Every link shared, picture posted, or tweet composed is in some way, shape, or form designed to worship the idol of my choosing. Every fan base has them, from wrestling to movies to music. Speaking of music, K-pop stans, for example, are notorious for their obsessive behavior, and may God have mercy on your pathetic existence if you ever have the audacity to criticize or make fun of their chosen hero. I myself have come into contact with one of their kind not 2 days ago. Here is that interaction. A few days ago, I put out this tweet right here, letting people know that this episode that you're watching right now would be all about different kinds of wrestling stans. However, I also used the hashtag K-pop stans are over party, and that was the flaw in my plan. Almost immediately, somebody responded. A user named @SweetieHWA responded with, "It's literally only trending because we took over," and then attached this video. Now, for pretty much every response moving forward, this video was attached. Classic stan move. Now Paola here responded with a gif of Jim Carrey from the movie Dumb and Dumber where he's about to vomit. Appropriate response, really. Now Sweetie HWA responded with a meme saying, "You're on K-pop Twitter, dumbass," and it was at this point that I decided I was going to have a little fun with this individual. So I responded with, "No, you're on wrestling Twitter. Shoot me off, tackle, drop down, get it again, Mark." Now for those of you who aren't aware, what I just did there was basically describe a sequence of moves in a wrestling ring, which is also known as calling spots. So basically what I'm saying is, if you understood that joke, congratulations, you're a wrestling nerd of epic proportions. We meet on Tuesdays. Now Sweetie HWA responded to that with, "Can't lie, you're kind of funny though. I respect that." Completely shocked, I respond, "Oh my god, are we BFFs now?" Sweetie HWA then confirms in fact that yes, we are best friends, to which I respond, "K-pop Twitter tamed, I've cracked the code." I then go on to say, "I'm going to follow you so that when I tell people hashtag not all K-pop stans, I can point to you." Sweetie HWA responds with, "Legend behavior upon your behalf." I respond with, "I am now a K-pop stan advocate, fighting for the rights of the non-lunatic segment of your fandom." Sweetie HWA responds, "Oh my god, actual legend, man. No longer a local, you're a loved member of Twitter." To which I responded one more time with, "I've been embraced by the fandom. Truly a monumental step forward towards progress." No one was more surprised at the outcome of that conversation than myself. Keep in mind, K-pop stans are known for doxing people who don't like who they do. I was embraced by one of the most toxic fan bases on the entire internet. Who better than me to take a look at some of the less desirable members of the IWC? Wrestling stans. In the year 2000, Eminem released Stan as the third single off his award-winning album, The Marshall Mathers LP. The song was about an obsessive fan named Stan who kills his pregnant girlfriend and then himself after Eminem took too long to reply to his letters. I know, uplifting stuff. Soon after that, Stan was being used to describe people who go above and beyond the average loyalty of most fans. Since then, however, it's taken on several other meanings. Depending on who you're talking to, stan can have sinister, pathetic, or just obsessive overtones. It's a very versatile word. You gotta love the internet. Now that the more seasoned members of our audience have been brought up to speed, let's take a look at some of these accounts, shall we? This is Chris Danger, and this is the prom pose guy. Both of them like being in pictures with WWE superstars. However, there is one distinct difference between the two. You see, the prom pose guy goes to a lot of signings, and his gimmick is that he takes prom-style pictures with WWE superstars. Now, while most WWE talent don't seem to be too bothered by him, playing along and humoring him, these two pictures of Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch got the prom pose guy a lot of negative attention, and it isn't really that hard to understand why. Most people just saw an overbearing man wrap his arms around much smaller women than him. To be honest though, I think that's reaching a little bit. Events like these always have a ton of security, and I highly doubt he forced himself on them. Does that mean that Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss weren't uncomfortable? Absolutely not. I think it's pretty clear that they were. But I really don't believe there's any malice intended on the prom pose guy's part. It's weird, but I really don't think he meant any harm. That brings us to Chris Danger, who also likes being in pictures with WWE superstars. However, he doesn't do it by going to events. He does it by photoshopping himself into pictures with said WWE superstars. Mostly Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss again. Those poor women. I think Chris is even less of a problem than the prom pose guy. He literally interacts with no one. All his account contains are his WWE photoshops and wrestling-related retweets. He's just some weird dude with too much time on his hands. He doesn't even tag Becky or Alexa in any tweet that I've seen. He just keeps to himself, almost like he isn't aware Twitter is a public platform. Although recently he's even added Kevin Owens to his roster of people he obsessively follows. No longer exclusively a female wrestling stan. How progressive. Oh, also, 3 seconds after I showed my Discord that this guy existed, they decided to Photoshop him into a picture of mine, and I haven't slept well since. As far as stans go, I'd say that these two gentlemen rank pretty low on the insanity totem pole. Nothing to get too worked up about, right? Well, I want you all to hold on to that feeling, because you're about to be tested. Men on wrestling Twitter who stan women who are also wrestling fans. They are one of the worst segments of the IWC. One that almost every female wrestling fan has had to deal with at one point in time. Here is a prime example of why I feel they are so awful. It's from a Twitter user named @MissDeathWish, who was going through some pretty hard times a few months ago. For those of you who don't know, I'm currently homeless and have a 9-year-old daughter. This guy messages me wanting to help apparently, feigning concern. Then he offers me £150 for what I can only assume was something sexual going by what he said. I feel sick and violated. I've since blocked him, but this behavior is predatory, taking advantage of someone vulnerable to try and get sex or whatever out of them. I've been open about how hard this has been for me, and how my mental and physical health has suffered. On the advice of others, I've decided to name and shame. People like this have no place in the wrestling community. I hope he hasn't tried anything with any other vulnerable women, and I wanted to alert people so they were not taken in by this bullshit. Thanks to those who have shown support. This has now made it so hard to even think about asking for any financial help, even though we desperately need it, because now I'm going to be constantly second-guessing people and questioning their motives. Anyway, if you think this is wrong, share and raise awareness of this asshole. #WrestlingTwitter, #WrestlingCommunity. Let's take a look at the DMs that were attached to Miss Deathwish's original post. This is a DM conversation between @JudasInMyMind and @MissDeathWish. Judas starts things off here with, "I saw your situation. It is terrible. How are you coping?" Now, after not receiving a response in 2 entire minutes, he continues with, "I was wondering if I could help." Miss Deathwish responds a few minutes later with, "Thanks for the message. It's appreciated. We are keeping our heads up. I have to for my daughter's sake. Now, Judas wasted absolutely no time to get right into what he actually wanted, his concern immediately out the window. He continues with, I know this may seem inappropriate, but would you be interested in meeting up for 150 pounds? Ms. Deathwish responds, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Judas responds, don't worry then, obviously not your thing, just you are very attractive. Ms. Deathwish responds, I'm married. Now Judas responds, oh, okay, sorry. No harm meant. Ms. Deathwish responds, not really cool to try and take advantage of someone in a vulnerable situation like that, is it? Judas here, trying to justify his behavior, says, I was trying to help. You're not interested? That is fine. I hope you sort everything out soon. I didn't know you were married. I apologize. Miss Deathwish responded one more time with, I just find it odd that you would only be interested in helping a family in need in exchange for something like that. It's made me feel super uncomfortable, but you apologize, so whatever. Goodbye. Okay, yes, the guy apologized, but to even offer something like that to a mother trying to keep a roof over her child's head, that just screams terrible human being to me. You know what? No sense in stopping now. Further down the rabbit hole we go. Now, I don't know what it is about Becky Lynch, but for the third time in this video, this stan is a Becky stan. Probably the ultimate Becky stan. Not only did this user used to obsess over her, he was so enamored with Becky that once she started dating fellow WWE superstar Seth Rollins, it completely shattered his world. Someone called Mark Red Believer on Twitter used to be a massive Becky Lynch stan when she turned heel at SummerSlam 2018. For months, he bought all of her merchandise and asked about her crowd reactions at all house shows. He cried when Becky lost the title to Asuka at the Royal Rumble and only stopped when she won it back, apparently. This guy was absolutely obsessed. Then when the rumors of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch came around, he went a bit, let's just say, batshit mental and claimed thousands of times they were only friends. He then went absolutely mental when the photo went around of Becky and Seth kissing at WrestleMania 35. He claimed he couldn't eat, sleep, and he was losing weight because of it. He then just removed himself from watching the WWE product and is now so anti-WWE that he is an AEW stan and will relish in anything wrong done by WWE. Be safe on Twitter, kids. In this first screenshot, we have Corey Webster TM. Wow, he's trademarked. Who's basically kind of just recapping things for people who might not know what's up. Mark was obsessed with Becky until they finally announced her and Seth together. I don't understand it. He has a problem with them. The first thing he said was, don't you cheat on your girlfriends. Now Mark responds, which was a logical thing to say. Anyways, the big dog is my number one again. Now he's referring to Roman Reigns here, who is also a WWE superstar. He's the guy he's moved on to after Becky Lynch. Now, once other stans found out that Mark Red Believer was no longer a Becky Lynch stan, they immediately turned on him, because of course they did. That's what these people do. We start here at the top with WWE Fan 235. It was unnecessary. If you are a true fan of Becky, you would be happy for her. Becky isn't stupid. She knows what she's getting herself into. You're just bitter and jealous. Mark responds, I am focused on my number one favorite now. WWE Fan, what if Roman dated Becky? Mark, that would be great. His wife wouldn't like it though. WWE Fan, if Roman was single and he dated Becky, you would be okay with it? Mark, yes. WWE Fan, what's your problem with Becky dating Seth? Mark, never liked the guy. Annoying as fuck voice. Comes off like a dick, even to fans. Is a mid-card heel masquerading as a main event babyface because of the Roman hate. WWE fan continues. He has always been a top guy. I've met him. He's been nice to me. Do you have evidence of him being a dick to fans? Because from what I see, you are completely wrong. And you realize Seth and Roman are on different brands. Mark responds, but Roman isn't champion. Now Mark felt the need to clarify that he is now a Roman Reigns stan and that he is no longer a Becky Lynch stan. Roman was always my favorite. I liked the redhead because she wasn't the golden girl. Now she is. Roman ain't the champion right now, and for his entire singles run, he has had to deal with CrossFit Jesus intruding into his spot. So someone named Sammy Bear responds to this, says, Mark, what's going on, dude? Mark replies, I'm under attack. Sammy Bear says, well, you are talking about Seth and Bex in a not so good light. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you have an unpopular opinion. Mark received some backlash for his comments about Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, so he decided to do what all stan accounts do when they receive even the slightest bit of criticism. He played the victim. People just need to treat others the way they want to be treated. Now, May, who absolutely refuses to let Mark get away with any bit of his bullshit, even for 1 second, responds. Says the guy who used to come at Charlotte fans for just breathing on a thread. Dude, they only attacked you because quite literally not even 48 hours ago, you were calling her your favorite and still putting up the charade you have been for months. She got with Seth, and you got mad. Sammy Bear responds, wow, point, set, and match. She has you there. Mark responds, I cared about her work. You stans cared about stupid shit. May responds one more time, coming from the guy who was in complete denial that Becky was an item with Seth, looking and questioning for sources leading up to their reveal. You were just as invested in her personal life. Stop lying. And finally, we have Mark here making the statement that this whole situation has made me lose weight. I am improving myself by being driven. WWE Fan 235 says, huh? And Mark replies, driven by emotions. Which means that because a WWE wrestler started dating another WWE wrestler, he stopped liking the first wrestler and then started losing weight over the fact that they were dating. Because that's completely normal. Stans are a fascinating byproduct of social media. We've always had them among us, but until social media, we rarely got a look into just how far some of them are willing to take their fandom. They'll sue you if you use their tweets in a video, threaten to straight up attack you, call you a racist even though you didn't say anything racist. Oh, and they'll also tell you to kill yourself if you dare dislike one of their favorite wrestlers. They are clearly very sad human beings with absolutely nothing to offer the rest of the world, languishing in mediocrity for the rest of their pathetic lives until the merciful embrace of death overcomes them and takes them away from this earth. You know, that, or it's just a bunch of fucking kids. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of It's Still Real to Them. We've only got 2 more episodes until the season finale, which is on Brad Shepard. More than anyone else, you guys have asked me to look into him and see what his deal is. Well, that's coming soon. If you enjoyed this video and the things that I do here on the channel, and you'd like to see these videos a little bit early, consider joining the Patreon. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.